5-Year Mission, the podcast, episode 7.
This week's episode of 5-Year Mission, the podcast, is brought to you by Fansets, your home for all things pop culture pin collectibles. And be sure to stay tuned at the end of this episode for your discount code exclusive to 5-Year Mission, the podcast. Fansets, we are Star Trek, and we thank Fansets for sponsoring this episode.
By now you've figured out that this is the 5-Year Mission podcast.
Welcome to the latest edition of 5-Year Mission, the podcast. I am Andy Fark. Tonight we are joined with Mr. Chris Spurgeon, Mike Rittenhouse, and Noah Butler, who is currently in the bathroom.
Hey, guys.
We also have two special guests.
Two very special guests.
Special guests.
Two of our favorite people in the world, as a matter of fact. We are joined tonight by Mr. Claude Miles and Mr. Brad Hall. They both hail from the great state of Kentucky, where if you follow us on social media, you'll see for the past few years, we go and play a little convention called Concave in Bowling Green, Kentucky every year. And these are the two yahoos that for some odd reason are left in charge of it. Say hi, Claude.
Hello.
And now say hi, Brad.
Hello.
So later on, we will be talking all about Concave, but tonight we're going to start off the first half of the episode talking about the latest Star Trek Discovery short treks. We are big fans of them.
I think it's all its own genre. And I already want to discuss the fact that we're calling them the Discovery short treks because they're listed separately as just Star Trek short treks on there. And they're considered to be part of the Star Trek universe, which they have a little even do a thing in some of the trailer tags for it. So I don't know that they're just strictly Discovery anymore.
Well, technically, so far they are, but we will be getting.
I don't know.
We will be getting a Lower Decks short trek.
I think it's been. I mean, they haven't been centered around Discovery the ship.
Well, but Discovery the series, though.
I mean, Q&A was just Spock and number one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just a historic. Here's Spock's first trip to the Enterprise.
Yeah, the Tribbles one wasn't really related to Discovery.
I would say it's inspired.
Right. That's a whole other ship, right?
And because of Discovery. However,
are we really nitpicking that these short treks aren't based on Star Trek Discovery?
This is a Star Trek podcast.
Yeah, that's what we do.
I mean, they built the sets for Discovery.
Yes,
mostly. Although the stuff for the trouble with Edward, that seems to be a new ship, a new exterior of a ship, a whole bit for a science ship. So I don't know.
So Claude, Brad, speaking of these short treks, what are your favorites of the new ones or the old ones? Either one.
I got to go with the old ones because I haven't seen the new ones. I love the one with the queen who eats ice cream and meets my favorite, redheaded officer.
Oh, Tilly.
Tilly's the favorite.
Yeah, I actually got my girlfriend last year into Star Trek Discovery, and Tilly by far is her favorite character. So she was pretty stoked to be able to watch that particular short trek.
So for anyone who perhaps doesn't know what the short treks are, maybe we should describe that real quick. They're basically short Star Trek episodes that, like we mentioned, were inspired by Discovery, but aren't necessarily about Discovery. And they can be seen on CBS All Access. And there's 6 of them?
So far, I believe.
6 of them, and 2 more come out December 12th, I believe. So that's what we're talking about, just to get everyone on the same page. So, Claude, what about you? What's your favorite one? Which one stands out for you?
Yeah, well, I would split it up and go with the ones from I have a favorite from the first season of them, and then they're not finished yet, so I would hate to pick a favorite from the second season. But I do like the H. John Benjamin, and then I like Calypso because of the underlying theme that, here we know how Discovery ends because there's a ship abandoned thousands of years in the future where they just went for season 3. So
yeah.
That's I like stuff like that. And the fun thing is that came out before season 2. So, it's just like, where is this even coming from? And by the end of the show, you maybe by the end of season 2, you kind of maybe have the idea that there's some future stuff going on here. That's why they're there, but then again, I think once you've built an Enterprise set and recast Spock and Pike in number 1, just using them for Discovery alone, I think it seems like a a miss and a loss. And I think they realize that, and short of commissioning a Pike series, I think this is a great way to see that. And that's why I say there may be not Discovery episodes anymore, especially the last 3 with all the appearances of the Enterprise crew. So.
It's interesting you mentioned that, Claude, because when I was watching the latest, I was thinking, okay, so when do we get this series with this crew, the Enterprise series with Pike and Number 1 and Spock? Because I would watch that.
I would watch the hell out of that crew.
Just given the little pieces we've been given. What was the one where they're on the turbo lift?
Q&A.
Yeah, Q&A and Ask Not. Just those 2 episodes alone, I find really and also what we've been exposed to with Christopher Pike thus far, also knowing his fate, right? What's going to happen to him, even if it was either before, even if they never got to that, it would be, I think it'd be a great series.
Yeah. And I mean, they built the sets. I think that's part of the, 90% of Kurtzman convincing the network to let him do anything with those characters. And the thing is being like, hey man, we paid for these sets. Here it is. We have this brand new Enterprise we built. Won't cost anything to shoot this.
Hey, how about that engineering section?
Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that we saw at the end of Ask Not.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, and I mean the interior of the turbo lifts too. Like when they're stuck in the Q&A, where you get the deep interiors that looks like the inside of an Amazon factory or something.
Yeah, it was actually kind of neat being able to see like how the turbo lifts used to move about the ship. Because they would do those exterior shots of like just the big chasms in the ship. Yeah. It looks like a bunch of weird little roller coasters.
So, Mike, you've seen the Tribbles episode.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that one?
I liked it.
Thanks, Mike. Good intuitive answer, Mike.
I thought it was great. I really enjoyed the post-credit commercial.
Oh, the commercial for the Tribble cereal.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I didn't see that.
Oh yeah, it was like a weird little bumper.
You didn't watch
it
all the way through?
I didn't see the bumper.
Oh,
yeah,
that's the best part of the whole thing.
Well, I love H. John
How do you know
Benjamin.
who the gaffer is, Chris, if you don't watch the whole credits?
Oh, I know.
Do you not follow gaffers or anything like that?
It's funny.
How are you going to know who the best boy is?
I generally do watch credits, especially on movies. I just didn't on this one for whatever reason.
They tricked you.
Yeah, actually, you're not really alone in that, because there were a lot of people that were like, a few days after it aired, and people were like, oh, I loved this episode so much, and people would start posting screenshots of like the Tribble cereal, and they're like, what is that from? It's like, oh, that's from the end credits. I didn't watch it all the way through. I missed all of that. Yeah, but I really love H. John Benjamin, and in general.
Well, I mean, everything he does is so quirky and fun, and I mean, he played what was it, like a can of beef stew.
Yeah, in Wet Hot American Summer.
So I mean, he's such a great, distinctive voice, and I feel like if Lower Decks has that kind of flavor, like we saw in the Tribbles episode, it's a winner already.
Yeah. Well, is it a similar writer? Do we know? Is there some connection there?
I don't know.
Well, it's a bunch of comedy writers, and then like the voices that they've gotten so far are like well-known improvisers that have worked with like. They've worked with H. John Benjamin. They worked with the people that used to do the podcast Spontanea Nation. They were guests on there. One of them is the co-host of the current podcast on the Earwolf Network called Yo, Is This Racist? And it's hilarious. So basically they got a lot of comedy writers and a lot of like known like people that do punch-ups and like comedies and cartoons and things like that are coming in for this cast. So I'm pretty stoked to see what they have in store for Lower Decks.
When is that coming?
They haven't announced a date yet.
Okay.
The only thing they've announced a true date for so far is Picard, and that's what, January 23rd, I think it is.
Yeah, I think it's late January.
Yeah.
Well, I've really been enjoying the short treks just because you get just little peeks into things. It's almost like outtakes, Yeah,
I have the actual description if you guys are ready.
Yeah,
it's
Lower
Star
Decks.
Trek short. Ready? Here we go. Star Trek short treks are approximately 10-15 minute standalone short stories that allow fans to dive deeper into the key themes and characters that fit into the Star Trek Discovery and the expanding Star Trek universe. Returning this fall, 6 all-new Star Trek short treks will make their debut on CBS All Access, including 3 USS Enterprise focused shorts featuring, your favorites. So.
Which we've gotten with Q&A and Ask Not so far.
Mhm.
Those are the
and
Enterprise centric.
Wasn't she a little? I mean, they because they appear in The Trouble with Edward. It seems like they might count that one. Too.
They might be. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
I think I saw that the next ones out are supposed to be the lower deck centric ones, and then there's the
Well, they're definitely animated.
well because there's
nice.
there's also going to be like the Nickelodeon animated Star Trek show, which is going to be geared towards like the super young audience.
Yeah.
And it's that one's going to be based on like the tardigrade.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That'll be interesting.
That one's good. You just and the key is if you're an adult watching it, I think just is more alcohol, and then it's fine. You just dumb yourself down to the right level, and it's good stuff.
Mike is aside explaining to Noah what a tardigrade is.
I know what a tardigrade is.
He doesn't.
It's from Doctor Who.
I'm a teacher.
Finish your beer, Dad. So, Brad, do you have a favorite short trek so far? Because I know you said earlier that you haven't watched any of the newer ones yet, but out of those initial 4 that we saw last season, did you have a favorite one out of there?
He told you.
Yeah.
What was it? I must have missed it.
Ice cream.
It was, yeah.
The
The
ice cream,
one. Now I gotta look up the episode title. Oh, it's just the Runaway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Runaway, the queen of the planet. I forget her name.
Did she show up in a later episode?
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
She was.
It ties in
During like the big final battle.
Yeah, okay.
And I was really confused because I had not watched
Watch the
the
short
shorts before I watched that.
Yeah.
And
I
there's
was like,
some important Saru backstory too, Noah.
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
No, I
There's
didn't watch any of the shorts before that. So I watched that whole season not knowing any of those backstories. And then I went and watched the shorts and I was like, oh, that's why. Okay. Yeah. So it was nice to watch them,
Yeah, I feel
even
like
if
they're
it
a
was-
gift to the fans because like we wait for a season and yet 2 months. I think it's 2 months last time and this time both, or before any of the new Star Trek starts, you start getting these little trickle of Star Trek.
Yeah.
And it's such a gift. It really is.
It's a nice treat.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, basically their whole idea is just to have Star Trek like year round between Discovery, Picard, Lower Decks. They're going to be they're still
Pike, we
talking
want
about
Pike.
doing the Section 31 series too,
Whoa.
which I'm stoked to see more about Section 31. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting.
It'd be good for having a little fun black badge on your red uniform, Andy, when you play.
I actually do have the little magnetic black badge that's on my
See?
my jean jacket already.
Nice. We can just hide it in your pocket of the red uniform,
Is that a fan sets badge?
It is a Fansets badge. They're our sponsor for this podcast.
They make good stuff, don't they?
They do.
Oh, actually, no,
Is it-
that is not a Fansets badge. That is an Omni badge. Even though on the same
Been a lot
jacket,
cooler if it was, man.
on the on the same jacket, I probably have about 20 pins from Fansets, though. But we'll talk about them
So you
when the
guys-
advertisement comes.
That'll be a
You
whole
guys aren't
other
exclusive?
podcast about Andy's jacket.
No, I'm not totally exclusive with Fansets.
We could do an entire episode on Andy's jacket.
We might one of these days.
Do you have a favorite, Noah?
How many were there?
There were 4
There were
that
4
you
in that
Yeah,
initial
four
run.
you've seen.
So I only remember 2.
Okay.
I watched all 4, but I can only remember 2. Unless you can
Why don't you
jog my
describe
memory.
what they are?
Well, for the first episode was Runaway, which was
I
the one with
remember that one,
Tilly
yeah.
and the ice cream
Yeah.
that Brad loves so much.
Yeah.
There was Calypso,
And
which Calypso kind of had that 2001 Space Odyssey vibe.
Wasn't the guy?
It was like,
was
it
that?
was like
cryo or
1,000
something?
years in the future, something.
Yeah.
It's got a Fred
And
Astaire dance scene.
That's not.
Yeah.
That one was probably my least favorite.
There was
out of all of them.
Isn't that the one where the guy wakes up on the ship and nobody's there? And
Yeah, no
he's-
one's there. It's
Yeah.
like 1,000 years in
I
the
really
future.
like that one.
I don't think.
It's good.
Maybe I didn't
But-
see it. Maybe I didn't
Okay.
see it.
Well,
It's
then,
not ringing a bell at all.
well, then there's the Brightest Star, where we get to see a lot of Saru backstory.
Yeah.
Is that where
How
he
he
goes
summons to
back
Starfleet?
To his.
No, that was
It's
like an episode.
Before he was.
It's his story of
how he got
of
off
how
of
he
his planet.
how he
Saru
got into
backstory.
Starfleet.
Yeah, You know how like Zephyrin Cochrane summons the Vulcans to ends up being in the Federation, etc. That's the moment Saru, like they make, I forget what kind. He builds
First
some kind
contact.
of transmitter, like light speed
I
transmitter.
feel like
or
I saw
something.
that. I mean, that sounds
His
familiar, but
sisters
I
in
don't.
it.
And then the other one is
They sneak him off the planet because he's the
escape
only
artist.
one ready for interstellar contacts. Like you're ready, but not the rest of your race.
Yeah, right.
But by default, the strongest one in my memory is the Harry Mudd episode.
The escape artist.
That must,
Oh yeah,
that
that's
must
a
be
good
my
one.
favorite, since that's the one that I remember the
That's-
most.
That's my favorite from the first four.
But I do really
mine too.
remember enjoying that. It was just.
Yeah,
I love Harry Mudd. I love.
Yeah, they
seeing
really
him
did a good job with
in
that.
it was very
Casting
multiple
and everything.
contexts. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was really skeptical when I initially saw that they were bringing Harry Mudd back as a character, but then when I saw that Rainn Wilson was going to be playing Harry Mudd, I was stoked. I was in.
Plus, didn't he write and direct that?
The short.
Yes, I believe so.
short
The
track.
short, yeah.
I believe
yeah,
he did.
I think so.
Actually,
Yeah, he's all over the credits.
You know what I like about the Rainn Wilson version of Harry Mudd? The old version was pretty crazy, but he was
very over the top in 60s.
yeah, he wasn't really dangerous, I mean, he did stupid things, but he wasn't so much dangerous. Rainn Wilson, it's almost his Harry Mudd is almost deliberately just reckless,
Yeah.
And I like that. I think it really adds an edge to the character that was missing before. He's not the old Harry Mudd is really fun, but he's almost a punchline.
He's just a caricature.
He is a caricature.
Of
And
like a huckster.
yeah. And the Rainn Wilson version is, I mean, he's more of a scoundrel,
He's more of a threat.
He is more of a
Yeah.
threat. And
More of a-
I really
Well,
like
I
that.
feel like as
More of a
he
modern
ages, give him the 20 years till he is running around with Kirk. He loses a little bit of hair, gains a little paunch, loses a little bit of his confidence. And, then he's just all show and flair with the best
just
of his
all
past
bluster.
behind him.
Well, and I could even see him.
And that's what we see him in the original series.
I mean, he wasn't, since, the time jump, I mean, you would think that he won't be around anymore.
Right.
However, if he were, I could see him almost being being influential enough that he could be a major villain. Somebody almost like Khan, where because of what he gets into and what he could stumble onto to make give himself more power or influence, that he could present a real problem. Because he really, at this point, he's just kind of an annoyance.
Not to mix cultures or anything, but he kind of reminds me, he could be like a Baltar kind of character with the original Battlestar situation, where you got this one other guy that's from your time, but he's kind of in your way everywhere you go.
Yeah. That's an interesting comparison. No, I like that though.
I think the fact that they're a gift of fans, the way they've built up, the idea that Rainn Wilson had the medium and I feel like that there seems to be, both with the Enterprise stuff that's being done and with the Rainn Wilson writing and directing his own, but maybe they have a little bit more creative freedom because of this, there's no, the network isn't required to do a season-long commitment, budget-wise, and if they're just tacking it into the Discovery budget, then they're having to do no commitment. So there's a lot less micromanaged control over the outcome. So it seems like there's more freedom. You get the trouble with Edward, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and from what I read online, the final short trek that we're going to be getting is going to be called The Children of Mars. And that comes out on January 9th, and that is going to be officially a Picard prequel.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tight.
So January 9th we get like a Picard prequel short trek, and then January 23rd we're finally going to get the Picard series, which I am more than stoked about.
So the January 9th is also, in case you missed it, Richard Nixon's birthday. So they're probably doing it for that.
How did you know that off the top of your head?
Because it's also Terry Smith's birthday.
Oh, Terry Smith, another Concave
he just got name
alum.
dropped on the 5-Year Mission podcast because his birthday is the same day as the episode.
Yo, shout out to Terry Smith.
Yo, Terry.
Now you know if he listens to these things.
Actually, Terry is responsible for the current bass that we play in our band at our shows.
That's true.
Yeah, I remember the delivery process. I saw it. It was like a deal. Like this deal went down. No case, nothing. It was just a bare bass guitar.
I will say on record, it is the best bass that 5 Year Mission has had in its entire career.
Bass.
We use it to record year 4.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it hasn't broken yet. That's why it's the best.
The case fell apart though. Thanks, Terry.
Yeah. The case was absolute Terry, just so you know.
I feel like that, the love of Star Trek is what brought myself to 5 Year Mission, and my, I guess, professed love of Star Trek as I was running around running Concave. It caused one of the other members, Tess from Indianapolis there, gave me a CD. She told me all weekend, I'm going to give you this CD. I got to give you this CD. I'm like, whatever, I'm busy. I'm sorry, because I was busy. I'm really sorry. I was very busy. And so at some point she gives up and gives it to Tanya and is like, here, I've been telling Claude about this, give it to him. And so on the way home, she whips it out. And I'm like, oh my God, let's listen to this thing. And it, changed the world forever, bringing 5 Year Mission into our lives.
No, I know I'm gonna ask this knowing the answer, but I just want to hear it straight out of you. How many years have we been doing Concave? Is this going to be our 7th year coming up in February?
Yeah, this will be the 6th.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you're playing along at home, it's listed on the video on if you go to watch the full Concave 5 Year Mission show. That's one of the things that'll come up. So
Claude, just give us a kind of a rundown of exactly what Concave is.
So Concave is Kentucky's longest running science fiction convention. It's held in the Caveland area of Kentucky the last full weekend of February. And unlike almost any other convention on the planet, it is not a pay-to-shop con. It is an old school science fiction convention where your membership gets you access to the con suite and the game room. And in this instance, a 24/7 swimming pool hot tub indoors in the middle of February. So we offer a magical buffet of a nerd paradise. So I like to call it a perfect science fiction utopia for about 72 hours. Because once you pay for your room and your membership, you need leave for nothing else.
Yeah, you didn't mention the bar at all.
Right. This is the crazy thing.
I just said that. I just said you need leave for nothing else.
I know, but
I think,
to be
you have to
specific,
use your imagination. These people are science fiction people. If they're listening to a Star Trek podcast, they got imaginations.
all right, now Claude, what is a year 2020 Concave membership going to run you?
I believe it's $50.
Okay. This is the craziest thing that I always have to explain to people what they get with their membership fee for $50.
Because we don't sell tickets. You become a member.
Yeah, you become a member. With that membership, you have the con suite, which has snacks and drinks and people running around like chickens with their heads cut off 24 hours a day
And
to
at least
restock this thing.
2 decent meals too.
Yeah, no, you also get dinner cooked every night. And you also have an open bar.
Our membership is, we try and provide our members with a fine con suite that does provide, and it's volunteer staff. It's all volunteer run. It's not for profit. We don't, no one makes any money off of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we do 4 full meals. We do Friday night, Saturday morning, Saturday night, and Sunday morning. And then we run what we call Super Bowl food the rest of the time, which is finger food and sandwiches and chili and cheese. And then we have hot dogs or some kind of, usually somebody will grill something or do that. We have a hot dog vendor who provides
Disco dogs.
Yeah, Disco Dogs out of Nashville, Tennessee.
Which as a matter of fact, every year I think Mike here is probably one of Disco Dog's best customers throughout the Concave weekend.
I enjoyed the vegan stuff she's had. So woohoo.
Yeah, I was stoked.
I think my biggest number so far is 17
throughout the weekend. 17 hot dogs.
Yeah.
Well, something else we haven't mentioned is that it's not your typical convention. You don't go. There's not like a dealer room. You don't.
There's no main programming.
Right. There's nothing like that. You have essentially the rooms on the ground floor and some on the upper floors that's where any merchandise is sold.
It's a large atrium area. People should know. So it's like an open strip mall that's around that pool. It's all open 24/7, and it's party rooms and vendor rooms.
Right. And at night the parties run late. There's also. I mean, we play every year
on every Saturday night of
art auction and costume masquerade. We have 5 Year Mission,
and every once in a while, insanity breaks out, like the wrestling
tornado watch,
or the tornado watch. Yeah, there was one year that we played where we were about to start playing, and then a gigantic tornado watch started
In February.
Which was
I know that year was 2018 because my damn leg was broken.
That's
Yeah.
right. You were
That's right.
rolling around on the rascal scooter.
The tornado shelter because I was in a scooter, so I have to like wait for the elevator.
One of my favorite things about the convention is the parties on Friday and Saturday nights, because the members do their own kind of theme. So you'll have a Playboy Bunny meets Hugh Hefner type party. You'll have a Fallout party. You might have a gangster party. You might have a Cards Against Humanity theme party. So.
Well, now that we're doing 5-year mission, the podcast, we're talking about doing an episode from Concave.
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be great. You should do one live.
Yeah, we could do one like during the day on like Saturday or something.
Well, and that's another thing. During the day, there's gaming everywhere. We play games in the atrium or in rooms. Actually, another thing that we did a couple years in a row, 2 years ago, I think we had a Mortal Kombat tournament in one of the rooms, and then last year we did
Mario Kart.
Street Fighter. Oh yeah, we did a Mario Kart one too. Yeah. So people bring the Switch or their whatever gaming machine they have, and so gaming machine.
There's a group that's called
Console.
Men in Black. The Men in Black, they're a gaming organization that represents Steve Jackson games and a couple of other sort of things. But they come and they do the demos. Like that's where there's always Munchkins demos.
Oh yeah.
So I started attending when I was 6 years old, and I enjoyed it a long time before I ever could drink. I still had a lot of fun there because I could swim until I was tired and then play D&D until the sun came up. It's good times.
Well, the other thing is since you don't have, it's unconventional. It's an unconventional convention.
Unconventional convention, yeah.
You don't have the dealer room, you don't have celebrities, that kind of thing. What it's about is just,
there's
yeah, right.
Drew Curtis too, yeah.
Yeah, Drew Curtis is there every year.
Ford Windstar, Ronnie Jonah.
Okay, fair. So let me rephrase that. You don't have any of the actors from
movies, TV
or TV shows.
Drew's really good friends with Will
Wheaton.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes.
Before we got sidetracked, the point I'm trying to make is that it's no, it's not you, it's Andy. No, I was just going to make the point that it's a really great place to go to just interact with people that like the same kind of stuff that you like. You get that opportunity at other conventions, but this is a huge component of this convention where you're just hanging out with like-minded individuals.
You're not just like seeing people in passing going from like panel to panel or photo op to autograph signing or whatever. It's like literally all weekend long, you're hanging out with a bunch of nerds and drinking and eating.
I like to call it, the Relaxicon. It's what we don't go to stand in line. We don't go to pay for an autograph. We go to relax with our nerd friends.
Perfect science fiction utopia.
Well, one of the things I love about it is no matter what time, day or night, middle of the night, there's somebody hanging out that you can talk to.
That's true.
And everyone is friendly and willing to talk to and hang out with anybody.
Yeah, I've never had one single issue with anybody there.
Claude had a party that it was a Star Wars theme party where he had a fifth of Vader's Mark instead of Maker's Mark, and he got a keg of Old Milwaukee. And maybe it was Friday night. He had the party.
No, it was Saturday night. Yeah, party was Friday. Yeah.
So Saturday he had about half a keg left and decided while he was taking a bath, he would just fill up the bathtub with the rest of that Old Milwaukee.
God.
So Claude's floating in the bathtub of beer and his own filth. And I had this little weird mug that I had gotten out of a gas station, put a quarter in, get a little toy out. So I walked up and filled a cup up of his bath water, and then we walked around the convention and say, "Hey, you want to try this new drink? It's Claude's bath water." And people would say, "Sure," take a drink of it and go, "Hey, what is it really?" It's Claude's bath water.
We should probably tell stories that will make people want to come to Concave.
I guess that's right. This no longer happens.
So it's so good about like these are all old tales where we've attended it. This was my 39th year, the 40th year. I just didn't go to the first one. But I think either Chris or someone was just talking about how that it's a great place to just meet people and interact with fandom. And I've actually performed a wedding there of people who met there.
Yeah,
I think Brad,
I was there.
Did you meet your fiance there, Brad? Like,
Yep,
ultimately?
I met my fiance at Concave.
I mean, and that story goes on and people hooking up and meeting up and being married or whatever.
And I want to talk about the very first night that 5-Year Mission arrived
Yes.
in Bowling Green.
Yeah.
And
I was not there for this.
I was hoping you would tell the story. I really was. So much hoping.
As I recall, how did you first contact us, Claude? Did you just email
Facebook.
us?
Yeah, Facebook.
Facebook? Okay.
No, what happened was we were in our board meeting and we were talking about the previous chairman of the convention really loved the band and
Gary.
Claude was talking him up. Yeah, Gary Robe. Claude was
The current
talking him up.
treasurer.
Yeah.
And he's like, I would pay $300 out of my own pocket to get them. And Claude says, hang on, let me call him up. He calls him up and Mike answers the phone. Hello.
Oh, at Hero House. I called Hero House. And
Okay. Which is where we are right now.
That's right.
yeah, Hero House Comics, Indianapolis, Indiana.
So that's how we contacted you the first time.
Okay, now, Claude, how excited, in just like maybe one sentence, would you say you were to have 5-Year Mission come and play Concave?
I can't tell you in one sentence. It's so exciting.
Exactly. Which is what makes this story all the better. So
he was like a little girl fanning his face saying, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, when you guys showed up.
So yeah,
It was unreal. It was unreal. Let me paint a little bit of it before you go into it.
All right, all
It was this, it was as if we had befriended the modern day Star Trek Beatles, which is basically what we're talking about here. We befriend the modern day Star Trek Beatles online, and then they've agreed to come for something that we can actually afford because somehow the treasurer has been sucked into also realizing they're the greatest band in the universe. And so we're like, okay, we can actually get them to come there. And then it's actually happening. I'm like, I still don't believe that this is really happening. I even know that I'm snarking with them on Facebook occasionally at this point, but I still don't really believe that this is actually happening until it's actually happening. And then I want to welcome them to this pleasure world we've created.
Yeah.
Just for exactly their kind of people.
So we show up, and first thing that happens is that it's just me, Mike, and Noah. And we show up, and you're like, "Oh, welcome to Concave. Let me show you around." So we get shown to our rooms, and everything. We go put our stuff away, and then we come back downstairs, and it's like, let's get you a drink. And then Claude's like, "Oh, hey, outside in the parking lot, we have this like high-powered lawnmower, basically."
It's a vintage 1920 electric Harley Davidson golf cart.
Okay, all right,
Three-wheeler.
gas powered?
Electric.
electric.
Yeah.
But
It was in the name, Noah.
I mean, this was an 80-year-old, this was a 90-year-old electric golf cart. Don't tell me we can't have electric cars now.
But attached to this 80 to 90-year-old Harley Davidson golf cart is basically something that they were calling a hayride trailer. No hay in it. But hey, we're going to go cruise the parking lot. Bring your drinks with you. We're just going to cruise the parking lot real quick. Just do a quick lap. So yeah, do a quick
I think it was
tour.
billed as a hayride.
Yeah, a quote-unquote hayride. So we are driving through the parking lot, and Claude is the one driving this thing. And
Which is fine.
Which is fine at
when he's
first.
driving forward.
Yes.
Yes.
But as we're rounding one corner, Claude, for some odd reason,
That guy wasn't supposed to be there either,
I'm gonna chalk it up to inebriation. Claude
No.
Claude does not notice the semi that is parked in the hotel parking lot.
No, he was trying to go forward, and when I came
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's why he.
So Claude's rounding this corner. This other guy is very, very slowly rounding the other corner in the semi. Claude crashes into the semi.
No, wait, hold on.
No.
He doesn't directly crash into the semi.
I backed into it because
stops.
I can't back up a trailer.
Yeah, hold on. He stops because he can't get past the semi.
Okay.
So he decides
To try and back up.
I got to back up, right?
And we all have like legs and arms dangling over the side of this trailer.
It's not that big of a deal, except he's got to like back up a trailer. And anybody's tried to back up a trailer, unless you have a lot of experience at it, it's a really sucky thing to do.
I'm bad at it.
And he didn't
I have
care.
experience being bad at it.
Yeah.
He just threw it in reverse and stepped on it.
Yeah.
So he backs
Wham.
the trailer that we're all in. It doesn't just crash into the semi. It crashes right into the gas tank of the
It's the
semi.
giant
Like
tub
this
of death right behind him.
giant barrel of fuel.
And there were
Yeah,
sparks.
right in his
And
foot.
there's sparks and
Diesel.
dents.
Yep.
So we get tossed around back there, along with everybody else that was on this hayride with us. And so we're like, let's just go ahead and get out of this thing. And at this point, we did not know Claude very well at all. He did not know our sense of humor. He did not know
But
how
if
our dry sense of humor.
But
at
if he had looked back, which he didn't,
yeah,
obviously, if he looked back, he would have seen like I
Us laughing.
was doubled over. Like I don't think I had ever laughed so hard or so long in my life. Like I was in pain from laughing.
Oh yeah. So what I decided to do was mess with Claude after this. So Claude goes and parks this old hayride thing. Mike and Noah and I have all gone back inside, and we're just kind of like recanting the tale to a couple of the other people they might have. I believe it was Terry, actually.
Brad was resuscitating me in the parking lot. I was drowning in shame.
I had 3 different people come and say, "Oh my God, Claude just killed the band. You need to come outside really quick."
Yeah, here's my favorite part is that I start divulging my plan that I'm going to act like I'm hurt and that I'm pissed at Claude and thinking about just going home and not performing. I kept the straightest face I possibly could, and when Claude comes walking up, I won't even look at him. I'm looking away. I'm rubbing my neck. And I think Noah, I think it was you going, man, I think Andy hurt his neck, man. I'm not even sure if he's going to be able to perform. He's talking about just go ahead and driving home.
I can't believe I would have been able to keep a straight face
I know.
for that, but I'm sure I did.
It was probably me.
And Claude felt so bad. He was like, oh man, I'm so sorry. Oh my God. I can't believe I did this. Oh my gosh.
it.
I ruined the weekend. This is horrible. And then finally, I couldn't keep a straight face anymore. And so, yeah, that's when Claude and I became really good friends. Is after I messed with him that hard, and he fell for it.
That first night I met you guys, when Claude was fanboying out and
Trying to kill you.
like I think our very first conversation when it was Mike, Andy, and Noah, I kind of realized Mike's dry sense of humor, and that's where the classic Rittenhouse phrase first came about. When,
Which I now use as my name on anything I sign up for. It's my name on Twitter now, and my name on Instagram, and pretty much anything.
Classic Rittenhouse.
so that's awesome. So you said something which I didn't know you at all. I'd never talked to you before, ever. And you said something, I said, classic Rittenhouse. And when Noah and Andy both laughed, I'm like, okay, that's a keeper.
No, when the first night you guys were there, was that a Wednesday?
I think it was a Thursday.
Was it Thursday? Because I had to work or something, so I couldn't be there until the next day.
You and Patrick came on Friday.
Yeah, we came on like Friday evening.
Yeah.
And he and I drove down. And so I'm at home, working, and I'm getting all these text messages. Oh man, you're missing this. This is great. We got these stories. And I'm just like, oh, good.
We almost died.
This is great. And well, I mean, it made me jealous that I wasn't there, but it also made me really excited to be there. So, we're driving down and I'm just like, flooring it all the way. I got to get there. I don't want to miss anything else. I want to be in the broken trailer. I mean, hayride.
It was another good story that involves Chris.
Second or third year we're there.
It was in the middle. It was in the middle years.
Yeah. Okay. So it's late at night. It's on a Saturday night, and Noah and I are stumbling around. We've been to several room parties at this point, and
And we wind up down back in the basement, and there is no good reason for us to be in the basement.
No, there's no good reason for us to be there.
Like, there are no parties down there. There's nobody down there. But there, Chris and I are.
We decided that we wanted to because
there was
after we play on Saturday night, the room where our equipment is, it's locked and it's chained up. And so we for some reason decided we wanted to go down and check on it and just make sure. I don't know.
Did we want to get something?
I don't know. I think you guys wanted to try to get an acoustic guitar to play stuff.
That could have been.
Maybe that's.
Well, I don't know. In our inebriated state,
there
who knows?
was a really good reason.
So we go down there, and there are 2 double doors to this room, and one was just locked down real tight, and the other one was a little bit loose.
It's like, but it's like got a chain wrapped around it.
Yeah,
with
there's a chain wrapped. Yeah, and so in my drunken state, I'm thinking, okay, we're never gonna get in here, but this will be funny. I'll just pull on it like it was the
Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, I played it up like, oh yeah, big strong, and I pull on it, and the door, it's like a handle. It's a door handle.
Let me tell it from my point of view first. Okay. Chris grabs both of these handles and yanks, like his
Ultimate
Incredibly
Warrior
Hulk.
style.
Yeah, and he's just being funny. And then I see him fall backwards into the wall, and I hear just jangling and metal falling and shit. And I was like, oh my God, he broke the chain. Like, he is so strong. He really did this. He broke the chain. No.
So what I had actually done,
he had actually pulled the door handles completely off the door. Like, the chain was still intact around the door handles, but the door handles were no longer on the door.
I really was just kind of playing it up for laughs between Noah and I. And I just kind of leaned back a little bit. So this thing was like ready to go already. Our initial reaction was to run. And then we realized that we were on candid camera. And so I was like, okay, let's just go tell Claude.
We gotta go tell Claude.
And so we went to Claude, hat in hand, very sheepishly, and explained what had happened. And Claude just kind of laughed.
Like, yeah. Well, no big deal, man.
Yeah.
We'll get that taken care of.
He's like, yeah, that's funny. That's your stuff.
They're going to be remodeling this hotel for the next 5 years.
I like to think of it.
I mean, I feel like that when you came noisily and drunkenly around the corner, the actual thieves who were almost in ran. You just missed them. And then you had that extra pull where they had almost gotten in. So really, you saved your gear.
There we go.
Except after that, it was unlocked for the entire night.
That's right.
Exactly.
You're a hero, Chris.
Did we talk about smashing TVs yet?
No,
we didn't.
I was just about to bring that up. Yeah, so this one year we get there on Friday, and Claude's like, I got an idea.
Which is never a good sign.
All right, tell us what your idea was, Claude.
So what happened like this is we're on Thursday, we're trying to figure out where we're going to put our warming cabinet for the food. And one of the rooms he offers me to put it in has carpet on the floor. And this is a big, giant, like 5 foot tall, square, electrified heater thing. I'm going to put it on carpet. That's crazy. So I would tell him, I'm like, I can't put it in there. You got carpet. He's like, here. And he hands me a box cutter. He's like, just cut out what you need to with the carpet and put it on the concrete. It's underneath. Okay. So I go in there and I do this. And as I cut just like part of a carpet out, I don't do like a professional job like I'm demoing the carpet and removing it. I just cut a hole big enough that I feel like it's safe to put a warming cabinet in the middle of it. And I was like, this is actually really rock star. I mean, this isn't smashing TVs. This is, absolutely, you cannot fix what I have just done to this room. This room is not coming back from this. So I go and I give the knife back to him. I'm like, thanks. And, and I tell him about how it was, really rock star. I was like, it wasn't, it was better than smashing TVs. He's like, smash TVs? You want to smash TVs? Like, he says that, it turns out, you can call for them to be recycled, these big cathode ray tube televisions, and they just replace them all in this hotel. So they have all the old ones, all the cathode ray tubes, and the recycling, they charge you to haul away. But if you say smash them into bits, and I don't think you can do it necessarily intentionally, but if an insane rock and roll band from another universe is there smashing your TVs into bits, you can just put them in the dumpster and it's fine. So he was like, I need someone to smash TVs. I was like, well, let's put a pin in that till the band gets here. Because, find what room you want us to do it in and we'll do it there. But I think we did it on Saturday it had been a Hoth themed Star Wars party the night before. The room that we got.
That's right.
Because they still have the Star Wars stuff up on the walls.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And there was already plastic on the floor, and so he was like, let's smash them in there. But I'm not sure we weren't exposed to, things that might make us radioactive in later life.
Cancer. Did you guys film that too?
We did.
We did. Yeah, there's a video of that whole session there for our what video was
Givers
that?
of Pain and Delight.
Oh, Givers of Pain and Delight. That's right.
My song.
Yeah.
We'll put a link in the bio.
Yeah.
Well, we needed something fast, and you want to make the footage go fast so it's not boring, and so it couldn't be that long. And then you want music that's driving, and there's what else could you use? But
man,
it
whatever
falls right into it. It's perfect.
Whatever chemicals got released from smashing on those TVs,
There's a lot of dust.
That room
just
was thick with.
Yeah.
It
was toxic.
We're all probably part Bruce Banner now. Like we're just be careful.
Well, and I see
the particles.
When we were smashing them, we had it wasn't like a big sledgehammer. It was like a handheld sledgehammer.
Yeah.
So
probably like 2 feet,
You had to
3
get
feet
close.
long.
Yeah. So you had to get really close, and these TVs were on the ground. And I remember we just kind of strolled out of the bathroom area and came around and just started wailing on the TVs one at a time.
And they were solid.
And they were really solid.
Really solid.
Yeah, you can't just tap them.
So I'm thinking, okay, because everybody was kind of hitting the screens right away, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to come around and I'm going to just crush it on the top of it, and it's just going to blow out. So I come around the corner, and I don't remember why, but I had my glasses on. So I'm going to blame it on my glasses because my depth perception is not great with my glasses. And I come around the corner, I'm just, I'm ready. And I take a swing and just clip the edge and almost hit myself in the shin.
Oh, God.
Which you can see in the video.
The edited video.
But then after that, it was, I landed
TV
some hits. But that first hit was just, it was not what I wanted it to be.
Yeah, that was not really safe.
No,
but it was fun.
It was fun.
Made for a good video.
It's awesome that he had those from the remodel, for that. But this is a good transition because a year or two later, he had
Toilets?
6 toilets lined up outside of the building. 6 beautiful white porcelain toilets.
Yeah, we should explain that the hotel that Concave has been in for the past several years has basically been under constant reconstruction for the past
5-6 years.
5-6 years.
They've been remodeling every year that we've been there.
Every year.
I think this last year was the first year that I was in a room that had been remodeled.
Completely remodeled.
Every other year I was in one of the old rooms.
Which they're absolutely lovely now.
Yes, they're much nicer.
But that was a great photo op for our Concave patrons.
Did
get
we
the
all sit
band
on
on
them?
either side of you sitting on toilets, and you get to sit in the middle. And
but it was also like 28 degrees outside.
Oh yeah, it's February, so that was.
No, that's the thing about February though. It's either 28 degrees and sleeting,
or 60 and lovely.
60 degrees and lovely.
Until the tornado comes.
And that's why the tornadoes come, because it's 60 degrees in February.
I don't know. We've had a lot of good 60-degree, 70 degrees with no tornadoes. But we've also had a huge, massive ice storm. The band at Denny's year, we were down a tenth of our membership because people couldn't get from Nashville up to Concave.
Yeah.
Hey, and the hotel is not too far away from shopping. Remember the first year we were there, we had to find bathing suits?
We all got matching ones.
Yeah, we all got matching bathing suits that first year.
I still have that.
I still have mine.
I still have mine as
you
well.
need to all wear them.
I know.
That's
But then there was the Saturday this past year at Concave where a whole big group of us went to the flea market, which is about 3 miles away from the hotel. And that's where I got my sweet airbrushed 5-year mission back patch for my jacket made.
Yeah. That's part of your jacket story.
Don't worry, folks. There's going to be a whole episode about Andy's
jacket. The jacket.
That's right.
Yeah,
there will be.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, Lord.
Bated breath, everybody.
I don't remember when this was, but this is a upper balcony hot tub story.
Oh no.
There's a lot of those.
I know there's a lot of those, but this is a 5-year mission one. I don't remember when it was or what was going on. All I know is I was down in the hot tub.
This is the year before last.
I
know what you're talking about.
Oh, I know exactly what he's talking about because I was involved in that.
And it was very late, and for some reason someone was passing around these little tiny phallic It was like a little rubber phallus, right?
Was it a phallus straw or something, or is it a phallus eraser?
It was like an eraser or something. It was something.
They were erasers, I think.
Yeah,
Or
multiple.
maybe they were gummy candies. Or
They were
something.
gummies. They were gummies.
I know you
Were they
you tried to
gummies?
Yeah.
eat them, but no.
They red?
Yes.
I do remember.
I just remember them
weird.
being everywhere, and I was down in the hot tub, and I took one, and I looked up because for some reason I think most of the rest of 5 Year Mission was up on the balcony except for me, and I saw Mike up there.
No, Chris was also in the hot tub.
Oh, were you in that tub?
I think
All right.
so.
Yeah.
So Chris was there. But for some reason I was like, I'm gonna throw this little rubber phallus thing that I have in my hand at Mike. It'll be funny. I'll just throw it.
hilarious,
I'll throw it up there. I probably can't even make it up over the railing, but I'll throw it up there. So I throw it as hard as I can because I'm thinking I can't even make it up there at this stage in my drunkenness.
Hot tubbiness.
And it's like some weird twist of fate. Like Mike turns around and it nails him like dead, like literally dead between the eyes. Like just hits him hard between the eyes with this little rubber.
I do remember that.
And it hits him hard. I mean, hard.
You said you were aiming at Fark.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
I was aiming at Fark. That's what it was.
I
See his face.
It was just one of those things where you're like, this will never even get up there, and it just hit him, just like the most dead aim you could ever had hoped for. It hit him right in the head.
Concave magic.
That wasn't even the funny part. Hitting him in the
that's pretty
face. It
funny,
was
though.
funny.
Oh,
But that wasn't the funniest part. He looked at me like I had betrayed everything.
The trust
You
was
did.
gone.
I did. And I did. Is I hit him in the face with a
Phallus.
phallus. I hit him in the face with a phallus. He looks at me, and I just see him take off from his spot.
He runs.
And I'm just like, oh man.
is he gonna go cry?
What's gonna happen? And then all of a sudden,
My line.
like a few moments later, he's down at the edge of the like atrium, and he's looking at me, and he just swings the gate open and comes marching straight at me.
fully clothed.
Fully clothed. I'm in the hot tub, and he just comes at me like I'm gonna kill you.
Shoes, socks, pants, shirt.
Fully
My
clothed.
phone was in my pocket.
And he proceeds to stomp down the steps of the hot tub, fully clothed, shoes, everything, till he is like nipple deep in the hot tub, right up in my face. And he just stares at me, and then he just starts laughing. He just starts cracking up. And it was awesome. It was the greatest thing ever.
Now that's classic.
It was classic
In
written
a
out.
wonderful way.
But his phone was in his pocket.
Yeah.
But continued to work for like years.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, I finally replaced it like
Concave magic.
like 3 months ago.
Didn't you were in the hot tub and you realized you had your phone in your pocket?
Oh yeah, I was like, oh
I'm just really committed to this
Anything for a
gag
bit,
now.
though. Anything for a bit.
But this was also the same instance where I was up on the second floor above the hot tub, on the balcony, and I remembered that at one of the room parties they had one of those giant brick things of the giant Rice Krispie treat. And so I just took that whole thing and just started breaking pieces off and just throwing them down in the hot tub.
Yeah, that was a real smart idea.
We're gonna have to get better security at the concave.
When
Weren't
food
you throwing Tootsie Rolls the year
when
before?
food goes into the hot tub, it gets real gross.
Please don't throw anything in the hot tub.
The-
at concave.
these are cautionary tales of what
Yes.
people who plan to attend concave should not do.
No food in the pool. Or
No
hot
driving
tub.
of golf carts
Into
unregulated.
semis.
No opening doors with chains on them.
So Claude,
No breaking
Claude, you
in.
got any other favorite memories of 5 Year Mission at Concave?
I mean, a lot of them. All right. So I've tried every
All
year.
of them.
Okay, yeah, I mean all of them for sure. But starting the first year, but yeah, so I had the gear and the people to film the first show. I love doing that, and I love the preserved record of the very first show because it's such an odd acoustic setup. Like it's part acoustic, part electric. Because we weren't sure how loud you could be in the basement was the big deal because we never had a band before. So I got to film it, but then after that, I was like, I can't enjoy the show as much if I have to stand at a camera.
Yeah.
Or even just if I have to change the cards. I usually don't stand at the camera if I can help it. I didn't then because I'm on one of the other cameras dancing. But I'm also having to stand there and watch the thing out of the corner of my eye to make sure that, okay, that card's out of room. I got to put a new P2 card in here, right? So doing that all night takes a little bit away from it. But then I also get the pleasure of editing it. And then the thing that this is probably the Concave show story is that if there's one word that is used the most on the microphone at Concave, it is the word Claude.
Yes.
Because you just
we say it often.
It. But hearing that, I have to spend a lot of the time, 90% of the time is editing my name out because no one wants to hear that. They want to see the show. But it's funny, I'll have a 2.5 hour or 2 hour show that when you take out all the commentary during the instrument changes, it's a very tight hour, man. It's a nice tight hour show. It's very good.
Claude,
Claude.
you mentioned the Denny's show, and I just want to take a moment to reflect. So I think it was the second year that we played. They'd shut down the Denny's, and except we were using it, and I think meals were served there, as I recall.
Yeah, they used
we found part of it we could inhabit. Because it was shut down, the hotel owner was like, "Do you want that space too?" We're like, "Yes, we do."
Yeah.
I got to go to the band and be like, "Hey, we can play in the basement, or I have an abandoned Denny's you can play in."
Yeah, so we thought abandoned Denny's. Let's do that. So we had. I remember Fark was sitting on, one of the benches where
my drum throne was formerly a booth,
right?
Denny's.
Yeah, a booth bench.
Yeah, so
it was
that
the back part of the
was
booth bench.
a crazy experience. I remember
There are photos of that too.
Midway through the show, I was wearing if you have a yacht and you have a captain's hat.
Yeah, Jason Crow
had one of those, and I ended up wearing it for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm. The gaggle of girls that were dancing had that hat.
That's right.
Him, and they put it on you.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just a fun show. I just remember just having a blast at that show.
And we all decided to seriously hairspray and just all of us do the most ridiculous 80s.
Oh yeah.
As high as our hair can go sort of thing.
That was also the year we got Patrick to take a bunch of Jello shots.
Yes, on stage.
That's right.
Yeah. And did you have Izzy hair that year? Is that what you, Mike?
Yeah, my hair was a little long that year, so I wasn't able to spike it up so much.
As I remember Andy quoting him, he said he looked like Ryan Adams' bloated corpse that they had found at the bottom of a lake.
That's very flattering.
So, Brad, you haven't had a chance to talk too much. Why don't you tell us a couple of things about Concave that aren't necessarily about 5-year mission?
I mean, it could just be about your love for me, Brad.
Well, I mean, the wife
That won't take long.
totally thinks that we're in love. I mean,
it's true.
A little backstory on that. I mean, I met my fiance at Concave, got engaged at a 5-year mission show in Lexington.
Really?
That's right.
Ooh. I said not about 5-year mission.
You let him
I got
talk.
to kick Andy Fark. No, that was fun.
I got to play drums so that you could wrestle with Andy.
That was very sweaty. But yeah, I mean, I've been going to Concave for 23 years. So, I mean, I've got tons and tons and tons of stories. I mean, my rap name, Big Biscuit. I was doing that at Concave in 1997.
Oof.
There's just, I mean, I don't know what kind of story you want.
It doesn't have to be a story. Just, tell us some stuff about Concave that might make people want to come join us.
Tell about the art show or something.
So yeah, we have an art show where artists from around the country send in their artwork. Around the world. Yeah, you're right. We have a silent auction on those until the art auction itself goes on, and then you can bid in person. Some of the artists are there. Right after that's over, we do a masquerade ball for the people who like to cosplay. And then, of course, right after that is the show of this band you guys might have heard about. So, yes, it's fun. Everyone should come. It's amazing.
One of my favorite things, Brad, is that you and I have forged this friendship, and we initially bonded over MC Chris.
Oh, yeah.
And then finally last year, he wound up playing in Louisville, and I drove down there and met you, and we finally together got to go see MC Chris together.
That was a blast, and I actually had to call out of work. They, I think I told him my uncle died.
Yep.
And I was like, and he was taking a picture of us at the bar before the show. It was like, I'm going to put this on Facebook. I'm like, please don't tag me. Don't tag me. And then about 3 seconds later, I get an email notification. I open up my phone. You've just been tagged.
I'm
So
gonna
it
get you
automatically
fired.
tagged me. I'm like, take that down. I'm supposed to be at work right now.
So, all right, and I don't mean to monopolize game, but some more Concave, also slightly band related. But so Concave, I'm from Bowling Green and was in many bands for years in Bowling Green or whatever. So as soon as we start having bands at Concave, they hear that I have a venue that they could play at. Old friends, old musicians, all these friends that I have from Concave for all I get hold of me like, man, you got bands at Concave? You got some of that band playing bands? So I've had to be like, no, it's a once-off exception. And I sell it this way. I tell them the truth. I say, look, I spent like 2 years. Someone gave me the CD. I got more copies, gave one to Gary, the treasurer, who ended up, like I said, I actually being willing to put up his own money towards it.
Bankrolling
towards
us.
getting you all. To actually come to do this venue. So, I mean, it's not like I could do that with every band in Bowling Green, you know, like I can't be like, and then what's the how does that promote science in literature in the Caveland area if I let your band play? You know, like what Star Trek show is your band about? You know what I'm saying? Like
We play Leonard Skinner covers.
But so you guys, you have a very unique place in Concave history.
That's right.
That you're the only real band. Now, for the 19 years we were at Park Mammoth, in the lobby, there's a large stone fireplace that's very tranquil and majestic there at the overlook. And around that, there would be a group of acoustic players who would do filk music, usually.
Dirty.
Yeah,
filkers.
there'd be a couple of filkers that would rotate, irritating people all weekend. I mean, entertaining people all weekend. I know the front desk staff hated them. Because they're, you know, like that was their main audience that was stationary.
Well, obviously, we 5-Year Mission love Concave. You guys love Concave. To wrap it up, why don't you guys give your best
elevator pitch?
Yeah, for anyone listening to try and get them to come to Concave
in Bowling Green last weekend of February.
Well, we're the Baby Yoda of conventions.
Kevin, thank you very much.
It's a good start.
That's good.
If you're a nerd, you like hanging around with other nerds, do you like to eat, drink, go to parties, we've got the convention for you. You can come and buy all the artwork you want, go to all the room parties you want, sleep as late as you want, play as many games as you want, see as many 5-Year Mission bands as you want.
There's only one show.
$50 for the whole weekend, drinks and food included. Come on out and see us. Tell them Brad sent you.
Don't tell him that. Hans will just be mad.
That's true.
He really will be mad.
He'll just go, ugh. Hans is a red star.
Yeah, and also one of the perks is that if you come on Thursday, you get all the free chili you can eat while it lasts.
So the convention is technically it's Thursday through Sunday. And so for the early birds, your membership, it does include the drinking on the Thursday, but we don't do any food on Thursday night. It's up to the members to do that. And so, well, it's always up to the members to volunteer to do it. We're just not buying any. But so I do one, the hotel, the staff, the ownership does one. Everybody, a lot of people do, a crock pot full of chili. We set them all out in a row and we have a sort of a unspoken chili contest. There's no reward other than, someone will say that was the best one. And you can tell because it's empty first, usually. So let me do my elevator pitch then. Here we go. So Concave, Kentucky's longest running science fiction convention, is unlike your regular convention. You can just pay your money and come in. Once you pay for your hotel room and your membership, you need nothing else. You could join our perfect science fiction utopia for 72 hours with all you can eat and drink. And I mean beer, wine, liquor, everything. We got everything. And then we have games. Gaming rooms are open almost 24/7. As long as they're occupied, they're open. Swimming pool open 24/7. We even have a record vendor stay open one year, all like 72 hours of the deal. But the moment you show up, you need to spend no other money. That's all you need to know. So that's my pitch for that. I would say the summer one, Concave, is spelled Khan cave, Concave. And so it's even more Star Trek thing. But We provide less there. There's no food. It's just beer and wine and cider.
And friendship.
And 2 pools. 2 swimming pools, 1 indoor, 1 outdoor. Fireworks. We usually try and screen some kind of film in the basement on Saturday if we can. But yeah, that's the bit. All of it's enhanced with 5-year mission, of course. And I think a lot of the fun of having you guys there is the fact that you're our people. Like regardless of the band, and like we found it's a fit. It's the right kind of people. We get each other's humor. And I think for people out there listening, if you think that this podcast was funny, then and are not going to emulate any of the behavior described in it, then
that was one long elevator ride, Claude.
How long does this turbo lift take?
With that, we're going to say bye to Claude and Brad.
Bye, Claude and Brad.
Bye, 5-year mission.
Bye, guys. I miss you.
I see you.
Thank you for having us on. Thank you. We hope to see you soon.
Do either of you want to share how our listeners can follow you on social media?
ConcaveKY.org is the website for Concave. Catnippery, CATNIPPERY, is my channel on YouTube. And there's also a Concave channel on YouTube. Yeah. And my Twitter handle is also Catnippery. And then, Brad is the big biscuit man. He has he won't pitch it, so I will. He has a rap single on Johnny Thompson. It's on the Ivy Estate album. It's available on iTunes, and the song is called, what's the name of the song, Brad?
It's called Cut to the Mace, and it's horrible.
It is not horrible. It is very well done, very highly professionally polished and produced by our good friend Johnny Thompson. All right, have a great night.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. You're the best.
We'll see you in February.
Go ahead, Chris. Sign us off.
Okay.
Coco. Let's hear it, Coco.
So thanks for joining us for another 5-year mission, the podcast. Thanks to Claude and Brad for hanging out with us and answering questions and chatting. That was fun. We will see you next time for another 5-year mission, the podcast.
I'm glad you got the name right.
I did,
I'm
2
impressed.
times.
Twice.
Thank you.
Twice in the same little
Impressive.
ending pitch.
Thank you. Good night.
I sure want to leave. I sure want to leave.
Thank you for listening to this episode of 5-Year Mission, the podcast. If any of you are interested in listening to more of our music, you can check us out on YouTube or Spotify or iTunes or pretty much anywhere that you can listen to music. Just search for 5-Year Mission and we should be the first thing that comes up. If you would like to contact us in regards to the podcast or anything else that you want to talk to us about, you can email us at 5yearmissionband@gmail.com.
And for more information about the band, you can go to 5yearmission.net. And also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Fansets is your home for anything collectible pin related, when it comes to pop culture, that is. Go there and check it all out for yourself. Star Trek, DC, Harry Potter, and more. And now, coming in 2020, hold on to your butts, because Scooby-Doo and the Flintstones are coming to town. Woo! Mike, I'm doing the spot. Quiet. All right. And as an added bonus to all of our 5-Year Mission, the podcast listeners, head over there right now and use the code word NOG, N-O-G, all caps. Get 15% off of your entire order this week. Christmas is coming up, so get those orders in now if you don't want to have a sad person on your list that's not receiving a Fansets collectible. Fansets. We are Star Trek, and we thank Fansets from the bottom of our hearts for sponsoring our podcast and all the other podcasts on the Trek Geeks Network. But be sure to use our discount code.
Yeah, especially ours.
Especially ours.